Mesdames et messieurs, merci d'accueillir les membres du jury du 76e Festival de Cannes. So I'm going to start introducing all the members of the jury of the 76th Film Festival in Cannes. Please, asseyez-vous. Merci de vous asseoir. On commence. Let's start by the very end of the table over there with the director, the writer, and the editor, Damian Szifron. He was in Cannes with Relates Salvajes. Sorry for my accent. Next to him, we have the director and writer from Zambia, Rungano Nyoni. Her first movie, I'm Not a Witch, was shown in Cannes in 2017, and she got the BAFTA for the first movie for I'm Not a Witch. Next to them, Monsieur Denis Menochet, qui est venu à Cannes avec Tarantino et Sorogoyen, entre autres. Ensuite, we have Brie Larson. She goes from this blockbuster to small indie. She got a BAFTA, Golden Globe, and an Oscar for Room. Mademoiselle Brie Larson. We'll come back to you, monsieur, in a minute. Next to the person I will present a little later, we have Maryam Touzani, la scénariste et réalisatrice marocaine. Ces deux films en tant que réalisatrice, Adam et le magnifique Le Bleu du Caftan, ont tous les deux été sélectionnés à un certain regard ici. Maryam Touzani. Paul Dano is with us, the actor, director, scriptwriter. He had two films in a competition in Cannes, Okja and Youth et King, at un certain regard. Next to him, we have Julia Ducournau, un film en compétition à Cannes et une palme d'or, plus grave, à la semaine de la critique. La palme d'or, c'est Titane, bien sûr. À mes côtés, next to me, the writer, the director, the scriptwriter, Monsieur Atiq Rahimi. Atiq, vous avez eu votre premier film ici, Terre et Cendre, qui a été présenté à un certain regard en 2004. And back to you, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur, two films in competition in Cannes, two Palme d'Or. Yeah, come on. Ladies and gentlemen, Monsieur Ruben Östlund. All right, guys, I'm going to start with one question for each and every one of you. After that, I'm going to open the floor with for the question from the reporters here. The question is very simple, but I wonder, what was your reaction when you got a call from the Cannes Film Office asking you to be a member of the jury for this year? I don't know, who wants to start? Should we start with you, Damian?
Yeah, why not? Well, actually, I was a little bit shocked, and I thought about it for like 10 minutes, and then, of course, I accepted. It's great to be here and among these very talented people, watching remarkable films chosen by remarkable people, and so I hope we can do a good work.
Rungano?
I thought it was a scam, so I'm really paranoid. So I Googled everyone, and then I still thought it was a scam. I thought it's getting more and more elaborate, this scam, but I'll say yes. And I still think it is. So I'm also shocked. I'm still shocked. So.
Denis?
Bien moi, j'étais en train de repeindre des fenêtres et du coup, j'ai raté la peinture des fenêtres. Mais c'est un immense honneur d'être là, vraiment.
Brie?
Just surprised. I've never been here before, so to be asked, it just felt like a huge honor. I care so much about this medium, and so to be with these incredible people who I admire so much, to be in their company is a huge honor.
Monsieur le Président?
Yes. I know, but I was super happy. I was very honored. I felt, it's happening 10 years too early, maybe. I felt I'm way too young to have this position already. But then I had one day to think. I asked for one day to think, and then I definitely was saying yes. I really, really wanted to do it, and I was looking forward to be in a jury and so in such a concentrated way watch movie after movie and getting to know how the audience works. It's a great exercise for a director to be in Cannes and watch movie after movie in order to understand how the dynamics works in an audience and so on. So there's so many reasons that I enjoy to be here.
Maryam?
I was surprised. I wasn't expecting it. And of course, I felt very honored, humbled, and just thrilled to be able to discover all these films, because it's true that you hardly have the possibility of just being in such a wonderful place like Cannes and discovering these incredible films. So it's just such a privilege to be able to be here among such wonderful people. So yeah.
Paul?
Yeah, it felt like unwrapping a present or something and being so surprised at what's in the box. And I showed my wife the text message on the phone, and she said, "You've got to do it." And that's the blessing I needed to be here. Yeah, truly an honor, and I'm so excited and just looking forward to being inspired by the people around me and the films that we're watching.
Julia, c'est à vous.
Well, the first thing is that I missed Thierry's call at least 10 times. And I didn't think, somehow I did not connect the dots that it was linked to the festival, so I did not call him back right away. And at one point, Vincent Maraval from Wild Bunch sent me a text and was like, "Where the hell are you? What are you doing? Thierry's trying to call you." And like, "Do you know what's for?" I'm like, "Duh, that's the jury." So I was like, "Really?" So I called them, and I was extremely happy that they asked me to do this. Again, a little bit of shock as well, obviously. And when I hung up, I immediately called Vincent Lindon right away afterwards to ask for tips as far as what I mean on, really. And he gave me a lot of dirt.
What kind of tip did he give you?
Sorry?
What kind of tip?
Oh, I'm never going to tell you.
Oui, comme vous voulez.
Oui, alors, moi j'étais en pleine écriture de mon discours pour une conférence à Florence sur l'intelligence de la beauté. Et ce que j'ai dit à Thierry, il m'a dit, viens à Cannes et tu seras inspiré. Et en effet, là, quand je vois toute beauté intelligente, et je suis inspiré, je suis fier. Et on va voir.
Merci beaucoup. On va commencer à prendre des questions. Monsieur?
Hello.
Si vous voulez, if you don't mind standing up.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Hello. Marco Consoli, Italian Daily La Stampa. To Giulio Ducournau, I would like to ask you, when you won the Palme d'Or, Nanni Moretti jokingly said he aged suddenly. So my question is, judging these films, how much you are going to rely on your personal taste and how much you will try to be objective? And to Mr. Ostrun, I would like to ask you, if you were to write a film called The Jury, what kind of film that would be? Thanks.
I can't wait for your answer. As far I'm concerned, obviously you come here to. The great opportunity of being in the jury is that you can actually exercise your open-mindedness. God damn it. And that you are here to watch films completely unbiased. Personally, I do not want to know anything about any movies that I'm going to see. I didn't read anything. I didn't watch any trailer. Didn't hear any interviews. I want to come like fully virgin every time I get into one of these films to honor the work that the director has put in it. So I don't know how it relates to Nanni Moretti, but I will watch his films like any other films here, obviously.
So, Ruben, the jury is a film?
If I write a film about a jury in a festival like this, it's always interesting to be in a jury because there's so much group dynamics going on. And it probably would be about that, of course. And I can just say that when it comes to running the jury, you try to create a certain kind of atmosphere where people don't try to be smart all the time, you know? Because people shouldn't be scared of saying what they feel, like what the gut feeling is and what comes to them. And if you have like a jury atmosphere where everybody's trying to be like top each other and intellectually smarter than the other, then you're missing out on something. So I really want to, not in the film, but in this jury, I try to raise the ceiling, and we should just like dare to try out what we want to say and then find our formulation during the way. We don't have to be smart. We just have to follow that like first instinct we have that we want to say something, and then we will find out how to formulate ourselves.
We got a question on the other side of the room.
Hi, I'm from Rolling Stone, India. My first question is for Maryam.
Just one question, please.
So, just two parts. Do you think women view films differently than men? And my second part is for Nyoni. If during jury deliberation, there's a disagreement with the jury president, do you have a strategy? He's a two-time winner of Palme d'Or. So, yeah.
Could you reformulate your question, please? I didn't hear you.
Do you think women view films differently than men?
Well, no. I mean, I think as human beings, we each view films with our own sensitivities, and there is a lot of us and of what we've experienced that we put into the way that we see films. But I think, I mean, for me, cinema is not masculine or feminine. For me, cinema is le cinéma de l'humain. That's what motivates me, and that's what talks to me as a filmmaker.
Second question.
Thank you for your question. My strategy, I don't have a strategy, but I like what you said about not being intellectual, because I can definitely do that. I have a great talent for that, so I'm happy to take on board his notes. So, but no, I don't have a strategy. I've done some jury things before, and having a strategy before, it just never works out. So I'll just try and convince them. If they're not into it, I'll bitch about it at home, and that's it. That's about it.
Okay, please keep it to one question. We want a lot of people to ask questions. Where do we go?
Hi, it's a question from Brazil, Rodrigo Fonseca from G-Show. It's a question to Paul Dano. 5 years ago, Cannes was the birthplace of your amazing wildlife. The screening at the Critics Week was incredible, with discussions about America, about love, about aesthetics. I would like to hear about your experiences at the Critics Week and how that section of the festival changed your career and your way of thinking about cinema. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. As I said then, every year since I was a teenager, I scour the internet for the 10 days that the Cannes Film Festival is going on to learn about what films I want to make sure to seek out, especially by foreign filmmakers, because I think that, when I discovered world cinema is when I became interested in making films, not just acting. We're so blessed to get to see this many films in such a short amount of time, because once again, I'm betting that a lot of us will come away super inspired. That was very meaningful. Sometimes all of us need a little pat on the back to keep going, and to have my first film be a part of Critics Week meant a lot to me. Again, because most of the filmmakers that I would deign to aspire to have come through the Cannes Film Festival. So incredibly meaningful. I thought about it yesterday on the drive-in. That night after the screening, Carey Mulligan and I sitting on the beach drinking, and just what a wonderful memory that is for me in my life. I hope to be back someday.
I think we have a question over there.
Hi, this is Matic Smajcem from the daily newspaper Večer in Slovenia. I have a question for Brie Larson. In the past 2 decades, we've seen you taking on roles both in independent cinema and superhero films. So having worked on both opposites of the film industry, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Do you think that maybe good Marvel films should get more opportunities to be shown on festivals such as this one? Or is it better that both sides of the film industry are separated one from another? Thank you.
I only know my perspective. I've never curated a film festival before, but I just know that I take the same level of preparation and care for everything, whether it's an independent film or whatever. It doesn't matter the budget. A film is a film. So this is my first time here, and I'm very excited to see the films, and I'm sure they will have a wide range in scope, and that's part of what makes this festival so special.
Hi, over there, please.
Yes.
Just one question, please.
Yes, Anthony D'Alessandro from Deadline. for the jury. The big screen is in its great spectacular here at Cannes. What would you say to the screenwriters on strike back in the US who believe that the demands of streaming are deteriorating their role in the industry? Specifically, Bree, Paul, Ruben.
No, but I think it's great that people actually have a strong collegial feeling, so you can go out and have a strike. I think that is great. I think that's the way how you can change your conditions of your profession. So I'm definitely go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my wife is currently picketing with our 6-month-old strapped to her chest, and I will go be there with her on the picket line when I get home from here.
All right, we got a question. Jazz?
Thank you. Hi, Chaz Ebert from the United States, Chicago. I have a question for anyone on the jury, and actually it's because of Madame Ducournau, who I asked if you won an award for audacity, as Cronenberg had done, would that satisfy you? And yet you won the Palme d'Or. Congratulations. My question is do you have to hold the awards to only a certain category, or do you have the freedom to award prizes outside of the usual category? The question is first for Ruben Östlund, and then if anyone else who wants to answer. For instance, if you think that 2 films deserve a prize, or if you think that there's a category, audacity or anything else, would you award it?
I mean, I think this is definitely dependent on how we are going to experience the films. There are possibilities to split the prize, but I mean, there's a recommendation. There's a certain of prizes that we are supposed to have in mind when we're watching the films. And there's a guideline and a recommendation. Then I think there's a possibility for all different kind of scenarios, like it depends on how strong we are going to be as a voice when we are talking to the festival. Maybe we want to do something that have never been done before, who knows? And if we then find the right motivation for it, maybe we can work it through. But there are guidelines of how we should approach the work.
We got a question right here.
Me?
Please.
Hi, this is Marc Garriga from Catalonia Radio in Barcelona. This is a question for Ruben, because we have heard a lot that consensus kills daring, and I don't know if you agree with that, and maybe Cannes is an exception of that, because of your films proves it, and Julia's film Win proves it. Do you agree with that, and if you have any idea how to fight this?
What did you say? Consensus kills
daring.
Yeah, but I agree. I think that one thing that when we have been talking now, and yesterday when we had our first meeting, I think that I want to encourage everybody that we shouldn't go into consensus. I think that what often happens when you are in a jury, like the group dynamics is going to affect a lot how we talk about the films. And sometimes it can be like there's one voice that is very strong and taking the lead, and then all of the other follows in the same path. And in order to try to break this possible consensus, I want to ask all the jury members to take turn and start the deliberation, so everybody can have their voice out there. I will actually go to people and say, hey, I see that you're thinking about something, please bring it to the table. So I want it to be like free, open. It should be high in the ceiling. We should really, really dare to bring out whatever we feel like. Because we have to follow that first little instinct that we have in us when we are seeing a film. And it is something about that, to be careful with that. If we are pushing that away, then we will forget what we were thinking. So I want everybody to, don't be afraid of saying something stupid or whatever. It's not about that. It's trying to find a way of formulating yourself. And to avoid consensus, definitely. It's so boring to be in a jury when it's consensus. I mean, we are all coming from very different kind of backgrounds, and I think that is what is the reason why we are here, that we can bring something different to the table, and that we are going to fight for it. And I also asked your members, I mean, you have to fight for the way that you are looking on the world. This is what cinema is about. If there's a film that you feel it doesn't represent how I look at the world, how I look at human being, you have to fight against that movie. And if you're a champion of a film that you think is telling the truth about things, then you have to fight for that film. So I think that we are going to have like a loud debate about all the films, and I hope that we will have a warm feeling in the background, even though this loud debate. And and everybody have to participate in this discussion. I'm not going to accept that someone is sitting and leaning back, and letting the others talk.
I just want to follow up on this one. I know that in the past some juries had rules. I mean, we do not talk about the film before 24 hours after we've seen it, or this kind of thing. Do you guys have rules? Did you put some stuff like that you want to respect, or is it going to be like free?
No, but we don't have that many rules, but I think that one thing is that this will be the first year in the history of Cannes Film Festival when the publicists will have no rumors to tell to each other. There will be no rumors about like what film will get what prize, because we are going to keep our mouth completely shut this year. And then another, so that is one rule. We are not going to talk about the films. If someone comes up to us and asks us about the film, then we just go, and then I think that what we have decided is that we're going to watch 3 films and then we have a deliberation. So maximum 3 films in a row and then we have a deliberation.
That's every day, you know that.
Basically every day, yeah.
All right, I think we have a question first for premier rang.
Oui, moi, Jérôme Vermelin pour TF1 Info.
Oui, d'accord. Merci.
Jérôme Vermelin pour TF1 Info. Moi, je voudrais interroger notre acteur français du jury. Je voulais savoir, Denis, vous, ce que vous aviez envie d'apporter au jury en tant qu'acteur. Et moi, je vous verrais bien dans un film de Julia un jour. Voir de Ruben, est-ce que c'est aussi ça pourrait être un entretien d'embauche géant, ce festival?
Je suis là que pour ça, en fait, pour chercher du taf. Non, en fait, moi, je me vois plus comme être dans une sorte d'école, une université cinéma incroyable. Mon métier d'acteur, c'est qu'une seule partie. Je veux vraiment être affecté vraiment émotionnellement par les films, me laisser imprégner. Mais on en a déjà parlé avec Julia et avec Ruben hier. Je suis plus un acteur, je suis un spectateur et j'aime mon métier, oui, mais maintenant c'est vraiment le travail. On a une responsabilité. Les gens qui font des films, c'est des années de leur vie, c'est des équipes, c'est des familles. Et vraiment, je me sens investi dans un truc très sérieux. Donc du coup, l'acteur, il passe au second plan. On a le titre déjà, oui.
Et c'est quoi?
Titan 2.
Ok, on a une question. The white jacket over there? Yeah, right here.
Charlie Angela, Al Jazeera, for Brie Larson, please. Can you just tell me what qualities you're going to value most highly when it comes to evaluating the films?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you very well.
What qualities you're going to value?
What qualities will I value?
Yeah, what qualities will you prize most highly when it comes to evaluating the films, even though it's your first time on a jury?
Oh, I'm not sure. I haven't considered that. I think film is such a visceral experience. I love going into films not knowing anything, not having a story behind it or expectation of any kind. And sometimes I'm just incredibly surprised by things that move me. And sometimes it's about the right place at the right time, a story that hits you at a certain moment in your life. But I appreciate all the hard work and dedication. I know how much teamwork, how much planning, and also that magic that comes with making a film. It's so difficult. It's a true feat that we've ever made a frame of a film. So I'll be taking that in as well as just, feeling it.
Hi. We got a question over there.
Oh, hi, it's Matt Donnelly from Variety. Sorry, these chairs have those fold-out desks from Catholic school. It's triggering. It's also for Brie. Congratulations on joining the jury. As a sort of outspoken and very vocal advocate for Time's Up and Me Too, I'm curious how you feel about Johnny Depp's film opening the festival, and do you plan to see it?
You're asking me that?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't understand the correlation, or why me specifically.
Oh, just you were on the advisory council, Celebrity Advisory Council for Time's Up. I think the Johnny Depp case has been very well played out in American and international media.
Understood.
There's been some controversy about that film being chosen to play out of competition in open Cannes. So I'm just curious if you will see it and how you feel about its selection here.
Well, you'll see, I guess, if I'll see it, and I don't know how I'll feel about it if I do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. La dame en rouge, s'il vous plaît.
Hola, para Cinéfilos Argentina. This question is for Damian. I just wanted to know, firstly, congratulations on Misanthropo. And secondly, how do you feel to be part of this jury? And how do you think it feels for all that cinematographers in Latin America that dream to be here?
The last part of the question, can you repeat that?
What do you think all the cinematographers of Latin America could feel with you as an inspiration to be a jury of Cannes?
I mean, it's a weird thing because, of course, we've discussed the rules that they have here. Ruben came up with some concepts that I find appealing and interesting, and we all agreed on that. And then you have the films. You know, you can make a lot of plans, but then films are relevant to all of us here, and they will take you somewhere else, and they will force you to come up with new rules because the film has something particular that you need to look at it in a different way. So I think it's going to be a challenge for all of us. We are all absolutely committed to, you know, like to do it as seriously and at the same time as freely as we can. And no, I think it's great to be here, and I hope that we can bring more Latin American filmmakers to the jury. I think it will happen, and I'm sure that it happened before.
We've got a question over there.
My name is Peter Dwiehaus from German television ZDF. I have a question for Brie Larson. It's some years ago, but nevertheless, I would like, could you please share with us your emotions when you won the Academy Award for Room, please?
Remember? It was a great night. I'll just say that.
I'm going to take the question in a moment, but Atiq, I got a question for you. Il y a une vraie tradition d'avoir des écrivains, bon, bien sûr vous êtes réalisateur et scénariste, mais écrivain aussi, dans le jury du Festival de Cannes. C'est vraiment une tradition très, très ancrée dans l'histoire du festival. À votre avis, qu'est-ce que ça apporte au jury d'avoir des magiciens des mots parmi ceux qui jugent des films?
On le saura à la fin, ce que je peux apporter, mais oui, vous savez, le cinéma commence avec l'écriture. Hein, il faut donc, l'écriture de la dramaturgie, le scénario, bah oui, je crois que j'ai un regard aussi bien comme cinéaste que comme écrivain sur chaque film. Je regarde évidemment, vu ma sensibilité, à travers les mots, les dialogues, oui, je prends attention à tout ça et j'essaye d'apporter un autre regard. Et en plus, vu mes origines, je viens de très loin, donc ça aussi, assister dans un festival international, je peux apporter aussi un autre regard, une autre dimension du film.
Merci beaucoup. I think we got a question right here. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Carol Guerrero from Deutsche Welle in Germany, and my question is for Brie Larson and Paul Dano. You are the only two members of the jury who come from the US, and I don't know how often you have the chance to see films of different parts of the world in the US. So my question would be, what are your expectations playing this role of juries here in Cannes?
Well, yeah, as I mentioned before, you know, I've followed the festival for years and years and years for that exact reason, to make sure I know what foreign films to seek out, especially if they haven't gotten the distribution they maybe need or deserve in the States. And luckily, with technology, it's gotten easier for us to see many of the wonderful films that come through all of the sections at Cannes. So I certainly think it's gotten easier to keep up with modern world cinema, where before it was easier to keep up with older, you know, stuff that gets put out on DVD and Blu-ray and screens and repertory in New York City, where I live. And so, no, I feel right at home in the, you know, in just watching movies, no matter what language they're made in. But certainly that is one of the great thrills of being at this festival, as it is the greatest world cinema festival there is.
Similarly, at I think 15 or so, Netflix used to have the whole Criterion collection. So when you would get DVDs mailed to you, I was just burning through their entire catalog. And it opened my eyes. It allowed me to see different periods of time and different places that I couldn't travel to. And I fell in love. It was so inspiring to me, and I felt so seen, and I realized how much I had in common with everyone. So international film has always been a huge part of my life, and it's part of the great joys of being here.
I've got a question right here.
Hi there, folks. This is a question for Ruben, but if any of you have any thoughts, I'd be interested to hear. Amid ongoing protests in France, the city of Cannes has put a ban on protests outside the Palais, outside those famous steps you'll be walking up, and along the Croisette. As an artist, what are your thoughts about this ban on protest and on some kind of freedom of speech?
I mean, it feels like it has been a part of the history of Cannes that you use the arena for that the world is looking towards Cannes, and then you can use it for doing different kind of statements. I mean, I support that they are doing it. I think that it's one of the great things with the festival when the world is looking towards you, that you can get things out there. You can say what you want to say. So I mean, and I know in the 60s when Godard and Truffaut was like holding the curtain and didn't want them to screen the films in competition, and it stopped the festival. I remember how Milos Forman was reacting to that, because he had one of his films in competition that he wanted to screen. And at the same time, he was sympathizing with the people because it was the revolutionary, like student revolution in Paris, and he was sympathizing with the revolution, or sympathizing with the people that was protesting and demonstrating. But at the same time, he wanted to screen his film. So of course, it can be like there's a situation that we want to fulfill our work. We want to participate in the festival, and so it can be like it can be very like a fork. You know, you don't know which leg you should stand on.
Hi, this is Eric Cohn from IndieWire. I have a question about the Oscars that will hopefully get a detailed response, and it's for Ruben. Since both of your Palme d'Or winners were nominated for Oscars, how important do you see the Palme d'Or in influencing the Oscar race as it unfolds?
Well, I mean, for me, I started the film school in 90s. In 95, I started in film school, and it was interesting because the teacher at that school, their reference of like the history of filmmaking was always going back to Cannes. They were always talking about like the filmmakers in Cannes. And I look at myself as a European film director. I look at myself as I'm part of a European tradition when it comes to approach filmmaking. I think the role of cinema that we have in the European culture is something that I'm willing to fight for. So in my opinion, of course, the Golden Palm is the greatest film prize in the world, of course. And when it comes to Oscars, of course, there's a feeling in that there's an impact on the audience, or like more average audience, if you say like that they know about that prize. Even there's an even stronger brand around that prize when it comes to not the cineast field in filmmaking. But for me, it's an easy choice. If I can choose between an Oscar and Palme d'Or, it's an easy choice. Okay. I'd rather have one more than have an Oscar. Yeah.
Right in the middle, please, sir. Sir. Thank you.
Oui, bonjour. C'est une question pour Denis Menochet. Il y a eu un film qui est sorti pendant la pandémie, ça a été difficile, Asbestas. Et donc, comment vous considérez ce film et en même temps le succès qu'il a pu avoir? Et est-ce que vous pensez que c'était un tournant pour vous dans votre carrière, ce film-là? Ou à moins qu'il y en ait eu d'autres, déjà.
J'en ai fait d'autres, oui.
Oui, je sais. Non, mais des tournants, je parle. Des tournants dans la carrière.
Je sais pas, je me rends pas compte.
Parce qu'à chaque fois, vous êtes progressif.
Merci. Le succès de ce film est assez incroyable, mais c'est encore une fois, c'est les gens qui se sont emparés du film. Il y avait la queue devant les cinémas, tout le monde pensait que le cinéma était en perdition, surtout avec la pandémie, et on voyait les gens s'emparer du film quand vous découvrez un groupe de musique que vous voulez partager avec vos potes, ça ne nous appartenait plus. Et ça a été dans tous les pays comme ça. On a fait plus d'1 million d'entrées en Espagne, on a battu Avatar, et il vit encore comme ça, le film. En revanche, je ne parle plus du tout espagnol, donc j'ai peur de tout ce qui va suivre. Et donc, tournant dans ma carrière, en fait, je pense pas comme ça. Je suis un peu comme ces cartoons avec Bugs Bunny, vous voyez, qui a les yeux bandés et qui marche pendant qu'on construit. Il y a des planches qui se remettent miraculeusement sous ses pieds à chaque fois. C'est un peu comme ça que j'avance dans le mystère complet, en fait. Mais merci beaucoup.
We got a question in the second row right here. Deuxième rang, ici, merci.
Hi.
Sorry. Hi, Nikki Fowler, Glitter Magazine. Also the president of Hollywood Critics Association and a member of Alliance of Women Film Journalists. And my question is for anyone on the jury. There are 5 female directors in competition, and that makes up about 32% of the filmmakers. What work do you feel needs to be done to have further representation for women at the festival? Thank you.
I can start. I'm a professor at the film school in the university in Gothenburg, and I'm definitely pro quotation when it comes to the film schools. I definitely think that you should be very aware of how you're using these spots that are in the film schools, and when it comes to the state money and how we are using state money and so on. So, and I would say that another problem that comes to the film school, it's not only gender, it's also class. Because when it comes to the film schools, we very often take in people that come from working class, middle class, but the ones that are coming from working class, they are not continuing being directors after the school because they feel financially stressed. So even though if they maybe could make it because they have the money enough, but the financial stress that is in the backbone of the working class makes them not continue make movies. So in a school like Akademivaland film directing in Sweden, there's a problem for us because even if we are trying to take in these people and trying to make a diversity when it comes to class, and afterwards there's something in the mentality, something about like the financial security that is not there 100% that makes people continue and have those extra hours that you have to put in it. So they get an extra job instead. And therefore they drop out and they don't continue in the industry. So there's a lot of these questions that is super interesting to talk about, but I definitely is pro that you're talking about it on a university level when it comes to education and I can say one thing more. I was brought up on an island called Styrsö on the west coast of Sweden. And this was during the 80s. We could borrow a video camera from the commune and an editing table from the commune. So the commune had this thing that they gave to the youth of the village in order to have something for us to do in the spare time. And that was the reason that I started to make movies. So there was something, a communal, action that made people starting to work with cinema. And this, of course, if you spread these things out, if you start to have moving images as a subject in the school, in the primary school, a lot of more people will know how to use the tool, and they will reflect on the possibility that this is with moving images, and they will probably move on to making feature films. So I think it's it's a big question, but it has to go into the level of primary school. And especially in these days, I mean, we have 45 billion cameras in the world. There are 45 billion cameras in the world that people are using, but we don't really discuss in which way the images are influencing us and how it changes the way we look at the world. And this is a subject in these times where we are communicating so much with images that have to go into the subjects of the primary school.
Okay, we have time for one more question. Over there, I think. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Bonjour et donc merci beaucoup, merci à tous. Alors moi j'avais une question principalement pour Julia parce que j'ai encore en mémoire la réussite et la Palme d'Or donc pour Titane. Donc je voulais juste savoir, donc c'est une question qui pourrait s'appliquer à d'autres, hein, justement le fait d'avoir ressenti cette Palme d'Or, cette belle victoire. Quel est le sentiment qui pouvait aujourd'hui faire que dans cette position, donc de l'autre côté, en tant que jury, quelle est la vision qu'on pouvait avoir pour donner ce beau prix à aujourd'hui à quelqu'un sur cette édition 2023?
Alors, moi j'ai assez peu de souvenirs de ce qui s'est passé en 2021 parce que c'était une émotion qui était tellement intense que en fait j'ai une mémoire assez parcellaire et plutôt sensorielle de ce qui s'est passé. Et le fait d'être dans le jury aujourd'hui, je pense que d'une certaine manière ça va m'aider à me rendre compte réellement de ce qui s'est passé en ce qui me concerne. Mais en tout cas, ce qui est sûr, c'est que évidemment, comme tout le monde ici, mais effectivement, c'est ce qu'on se disait hier avec Ruben, c'est qu'on remettre la Palme d'Or à quelqu'un, c'est un vrai changement de vie. C'est quelque chose qui est évidemment symboliquement auquel, quand on est cinéaste, on aspire, ou on ose à peine rêver, tellement ça paraît être le Graal, mais c'est aussi un changement de vie assez colossal. Il y a des vrais impacts, ça a énormément d'importance pour les financements des films suivants. Donc c'est vraiment au-delà. L'aspect symbolique, évidemment, c'est celui dont on parle le plus, mais je pense que voilà, il faut pas prendre ça à la légère quand on décerne ce prix. C'est pas honorifique. C'est un vrai, c'est donner un tremplin colossal dans la vie de quelqu'un qui va pouvoir continuer à s'exprimer et à chercher dans son art, en fait. Et c'est extrêmement dans des conditions, on va dire, peut-être plus simples que précédemment. Et voilà, il y a un poids là-dedans. Voilà, il y a un sens, il y a un poids à ce prix, et je m'en rends bien compte aujourd'hui.
Ruben, you want to add something? No?
Should I answer?
Do you want to add something about the responsibility of giving a Palme d'Or?
The thoughts I have on give the prize, or what it means, like in general. But I agree with what you said, Julia. It's a fantastic thing to get to experience it, and it's also a burden on the shoulders of the director that gets it. And and I can just tell the difference in my life when I'm going to different countries in order to distribute the movie and help the distributors to get attention for the film. It's one of these prizes that builds a relationship between the director and the audience, and the director and the media. And it's just a fantastic prize. And as Julia said, it's like something that many great directors have not gotten it, and you have to be lucky also when you are getting it. You have to make a great film, but also you have to have a jury that is supporting your film and are a champion of your film when you are presenting the film in competition. So yeah.
Monsieur le Président, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, merci beaucoup.
Thank you.